Hello, and welcome to our pre-recorded webinar on value-added products. This presentation is part of the third annual Hawaii County Community Food Summit. Today we have Sharon and Denise joining us, and I will hand it over to Sharon first.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Very, very happy to be part of this food summit because value-added agricultural products are an important way to add value to the farming community, but not only that, is to make shelf-stable products that can be exported. My name is Sharon Hurd. I'm with the Department of Agriculture here in Hawaii. I'm the Business Development Program Manager. But really, the bulk of this presentation will be by Denise SALMERON. She's with the USDA Rural Development Business Programs Director. And the reason I say that is because the pandemic has really created some economic hardship on the state. So much of our revenue was coming from an industry that was severely impacted by the pandemic. So we're going to look to the USDA, the federal offices, for their support in helping us get through this from a business sense. So thank you very much. Denise and I are going to be happy to be part of this series, but we want to remind you to check out the other presentations in this series and then join all of us for a live discussion on November 6th at 10:30 a.m. Okay, so I'm going to start the discussion with a discussion about support for Hawaii value-added products and their manufacturers. There is support on the state side. Take a look at the graphic on the side of the screen. What we've tried to do is show you that there are many, many ways to add value to Hawaii-grown products. Powders and juices, make a seasoning, make a lozenge, make a cosmetic, fry it, make a fruit leather. So all of these processes add value to the products that you grow. And at the state level, we have two programs that are authorized by the Hawaii State Legislature, and they're both branding programs. One is the Seal of Quality program. Now, the Seal of Quality program says that the content of your product and the manufacture of your product both occur in the state. The made in Hawaii with Aloha product is for the manufacturer. And the reason for that is we recognize, the state legislature recognized that Hawaii doesn't have all the ingredients you need to make a product. So if you have a cookie, and most of the ingredients have to be sourced off island, as long as you produce that cookie here, you mix it up, you bake it, you put it in a package and you sell it, you get credit for a made in Hawaii with Aloha product. Good example is Aloha tofu. We don't have a soybean industry here, but they import the soybeans, but they make the tofu here. They are a made in Hawaii with Aloha product. The other assistance that we have for value-added products is the Hawaii Agriculture and Food Products Database. The link is there. We get calls every day. Where can I get curry leaves? Where can I get puree? Where can I get powders? And we refer them, because we have to be fair and equal, we refer them to the website. And just the other day, there was an inquiry for puree. It was passion fruit and papaya puree. And we referred them to the database, and they were able to link up with a local Hawaii manufacturer. And this website is what we promote at the state when we go on our marketing activities. We say, if you're looking for something, go to this database. Another benefit we have at the state level is that we do offer export programs. The Western United States Agricultural Trade Association is now conducting virtual activities where we have buyers on one side and Hawaii companies on the other. They actually meet one-on-one. We have trade shows, and please take advantage of the Euromonitor reports that we have access to, and that is for trade data. We have, if you wanted to know what the retail price for honey is in Taiwan, we have that for you. We just need to get an email from you. So that is pretty much the state programs, but really the superstar of today, caveats. Yes, whenever you apply for government funding, you need to know a couple of things before you start. There are a number of red flags. Over on the graphic, you'll see that you need to have a DUNS number. You need to be compliant with Hawaii Compliance Express. You need to have your IRS and DOE tax filings. Pretty much there's a lot of things you need to be aware of before you get into applying for funding. And the federal and state rules are similar, but they are different. Compliance, we share. Both the state and the federal agencies say you must be compliant. And the idea is, if you're applying for public funds, you can't owe money to the feds. You can't owe money to the state. You have to be compliant. So please take care of that before you get hot and heavy into your proposals. The other thing is made in the US is the origin of your product. Your ingredients either have to be made in the USA or made in Hawaii. The product of the USA tag is important for some of the programs that the USDA offers. You need to be at least 50% US grown by weight. This excludes water, salt, minerals, and packaging. Be careful of that. You have to be product of the USA for federal funds. The Seal of Quality program, the primary agricultural product has to be entirely produced in Hawaii. That has a 50%, at least 50% value have to be input in Hawaii. In addition, some programs say you must be headquartered in the USA or in Hawaii. And before you really get started, you need a business plan. And part of your business plan is to check the export regulations. If you do plan on conducting export, there are tariffs, there are certificates you need to get. Some products require APHIS approval. And if you get all the way to the end of your product and you're ready to ship anthuriums to Taiwan, you're gonna find out, hey, I can't do that. The APHIS requirements doesn't allow me to do that. So basically, this stop sign is not to say stop, but it should have been caution. You know, be careful. There are caveats out there for you. And now it's time to hear about the federal programs. And here's Denise.
So thank you. I always like to start off and just say who rural development is, because believe it or not, I still get a lot of people that when they hear USDA, they think that we're all meat inspectors. So rural development is just one of over 17 agencies that comes under the United States Department of Agriculture, also known as USDA umbrella. USDA is a federal executive department responsible for developing and executing federal laws related to farming, agriculture, forestry, and food. So rural development's mission is to increase economic opportunity and improve the quality of life for rural America. So we have over 40 grant, direct, and guaranteed loans and technical assistance programs to provide access and credit for rural communities. Through our 3 program areas, we provide programs that can build and improve housing, that can provide childcare centers, fire, police stations, telecommunication programs, and also we have programs that support business development and job training. So the section that I work under, Rural Business Cooperative Programs, we have over 14 programs listed here. Today, I'm just going to highlight the Value Added Producer Grant Program. So the Value Added Producer Grant Program, next slide. So the Value Added Producer Grant Program was initially authorized by Section 231 of the Agriculture Risk Protection Act of 2000 and has been amended by the 2000 Agriculture Act. Program regulation is the 7 CFR sub 4284 subpart J. So the Value Added Producer Grant Program's objective is to assist viable agriculture producers in starting or expanding value-added activities related to the processing and or marketing of value-added agricultural products, with the goal of generating new products, creating and expanding marketing opportunities, and increasing producer income. So this program is a national competitive program, so we don't get any state allocation. Unfortunately, at this time, I don't know what the available funding or application deadlines for this fiscal year. They're to be determined, and they will be published in the Federal Register. But I anticipate the deadline will likely be maybe in the spring of 2021. We have two types of funding under this program. We have planning grants, and maximum awards under planning would be $75,000. We also have working capital grants that can go up to $250,000. There is a matching requirement, which is a 1-to-1 match. So 50% of the total project cost will need to be by cash or eligible in-kind contributions. And the maximum grant period for value-added producer grant is up to 36 months, depending on the project complexity. So under this program, there's 4 eligible applicant types: independent producers, farmer or rancher cooperatives, agriculture producer groups, and majority controlled producer-based business ventures. There's also 5 methodologies that can be eligible for meeting the value-added requirement. The first is a change in physical state. So an example would be converting tomatoes into tomato sauce or salsa. The second methodology is produce in a manner that results in enhancement of the value-added agriculture commodity. So an example would be organic chickens. Product segregation. The best example I can give you is if you had GMO and non-GMO, but you would have to maintain segregation on farm throughout the cycle. And then we have source of farm or ranch-based renewable energy. An example of that would be manure that's being converted into methane. And then the last methodology is locally produced agricultural food products, which is produced and sold within the state. So like I told you, there's 2 types of grants under the value-added producer grant. The first one is planning, maximum grants up to $75,000. It's essentially to help farmers and ranchers plan for the marketing and determining viability for the value-added product. We also have working capital grants that can go up to $250,000 that can be used for operational costs directly related to processing and or marketing of the value-added product. And feasibility study and or business plans may be required depending on the size of the project. So what can planning grants be used for? So planning grants can be used to pay qualified consultants to conduct and develop a feasibility study, business plan, and or marketing plans associated with the processing and or marketing of the value-added agricultural product. Working capital grants, this one can be used to set up financial accounting systems for the project. We can cover salaries for employees who are not family or owners to process, market, and distribute the value-added product. We can also cover marketing campaigns, website logo designs, and packaging materials, which are like labels, jars, boxes, etc. Distribution costs. We also cover farmers market table fees, participation in trade shows. And when we talked about the 50% that you have to contribute into the project, that can be, the in-kind can also be made up of the value of the raw commodity that's going into the project. So this slide, I think, is one of the really important slides because we also get asked about what's eligible or not eligible. And a lot of people, when they're getting into value added, they're really looking for equipment and facilities. Unfortunately, under the value added program, we don't finance any fixed equipment, building facilities, or vehicles. We also don't cover the cost to prepare the value added application. We don't do any of the production expenses. Research and development is not allowed, and any cost that's incurred prior to grant approval. And of course, no conflicts of interest. All applicants must produce and own more than 50% of the raw commodity that's used for the value-added product. You can buy additional raw commodity, but you have to be growing more than 50% of that raw commodity. You have to be currently producing, and you need to own the product from its raw commodity state through the production of the value-added product during the project. So other eligibility criteria, emerging markets. So except for independent producers, you must be either expanding your market or getting into a new market. You must be citizens of the United States or granted legal permanent resident status. You must have legal authority and responsibility, and you cannot have any multiple value-added producer grants. So I wanted to give you some examples of some of the projects that has been funded under this program. Kaumata Farms in Kamuela received a $250,000 working capital value-added grant, and this was to finance marketing and post-harvest handling and distribution costs to expand locally grown tomatoes in Hawaii. We also awarded about $104,000 working capital grant to Hawaii Ulu Producer Cooperative. This will be financing an accounting system, marketing, processing, and distribution costs to expand the market of steamed frozen packaged breadfruit. So Emily Ta'aroa, DBA Puna Chicks, she received $20,000 working capital to purchase packaging materials, delivery expenses, and also to cover farmer market expenses and processing labor for organic chickens. And we also did a $64,000 working capital grant to the Nursery Inc. in Kona. This was to expand market of their value-added vanilla products. So, I mean, I want people to really understand that I know the value-added producer grant program is the most technical, difficult program that we have because there's different eligibility and even the value-added methodologies. But we do have tools available for applicants, so be sure to utilize the toolkits. They're not mandatory, but they're highly recommended. And I know that I talked really fast and I may not have taken a really deep dive in the program. So if you're interested in the value-added producer grant program, please reach out to me or Shirley and Jeffrey. Our contacts are on the screen and we'll be more than happy to help you. And last but not least, do not wait to the deadline to apply. Contact us early so that we can work with you and identify issues that may be a problem before the application deadline.
So thank you very much, Denise. That was wonderful. It gives a lot of people hope out there that they can apply and they can perhaps get funding for their value-added producer projects. You know, Denise and I want you to know that while these programs are available and out there, these are not the only programs that are out there. The county has programs, and the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, they have programs for manufacturers, but these are some that we felt would be specifically targeted to the value-added producers. So mahalo for joining us, and don't forget to join our live session on November 6th at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much.